Today we have a very, very special guest. You can see a very beautiful woman sitting here, but I'm not going to do the introduction. I have Reverend going to do the introduction today. So, Rev, over to you.
Yeah, today we have here with me my wife, Pastor Julia Ademinta, my wife of 43 years.
Wow.
Okay, my best friend. We've been in this journey together. And most of the ideas I've been sharing with you, she's very familiar with them because we work as a team. We run a family, our finances, everything. But to be honest with you, when it comes to the finances, she's more hands-on than I am.
Wow.
Yes, she's just so detail-oriented and meticulous. I like to talk high level, but and today it's a privilege to have her with us to give us some very detailed stuff.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Welcome. I call her my auntie. So if I don't say Pastor Julia, please understand because she's my auntie. So I have an advantage compared to you guys. So auntie, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. It's a privilege to be here.
Yeah, I hope today will not be the first and last, but we'll have you multiple occasions to come educate us on a lot of things. And today, Pastor already said you guys have been married for 43 years.
Yeah.
And I know marriage is very difficult. It's not an easy thing. How have you guys been able to be still loving each other for 43? I've always said this, to complete my question. Maybe some people might know, some people might not know. I lived with auntie and uncle for 2 years of my life. And that 2 years of my life, that's when I was like, wow, I've never seen them argue before. It was always laughter, jokes, and all of that. And when I saw them, I'm like, wow, this is how I want my marriage to be. So, in introducing, I want to also thank you guys for also being an example, being a good example, so that people like me, young ones, can also follow you. And to complete my question, how did you guys able to do for 43 years?
Yes. I think that's to you, right?
So I'll start with Auntie, then you can also chime
Yes.
in.
Go ahead.
I think it depends on what you want in the marriage, right? I wanted a leader, a friend, somebody I can relate to, somebody who will understand me and take me with all my faults. And God's being so good, He gave me somebody like that, right? So, seeing His leadership, it was easy for me to follow. So, that is how we are here. I mean, we've had our ups and downs, our issues, but at the end of the day, we are able to find common ground and to know that we can do better. And it's been 1 year after the other, and by the grace of God, we've been an example to many, and we hope to continue this journey. Yeah, it's not to say that it's been perfect, but with God on our side and the willingness to learn and grow, that's how we are able to come this far.
Yeah. I'm one of the examples. How do you also do it for 43 years?
Yeah, I think a few people have mentioned the fact that they haven't seen us argue or fight before. It's not that we don't have differences and we don't have arguments. But I think when we have differences or arguments, we choose to fight in a positive way. For example, I know in my mind what the scripture tells me how to treat her. So I'm not going to talk about it, say something I don't like that she's doing. I will voice it. But how I voice it is important because I know who she is. So, I think I've explained this some time ago about the fact that when you are going to, you may see a fault with someone, don't cut it, circumcise it. There's a difference there. And I think it's an attitude that she also has. In that I know I do certain things wrong. I see her observing me and find a way to say, no, I don't like this. You know, we may have complaints, but we try not to criticize each other, make it an attack. I think that is where a lot of couples go over and it becomes an issue. So it builds up over the years, a lot of anger between you, but recognize she's a human being. She has faults. I'm a human being, I have faults. So just as I expect grace from her, I also have to extend grace to her.
Wow.
That's how we handle things.
That's very deep. And I actually have one question for you.
Okay.
So, I saw somewhere like, what do you need to have before you can accept a guy in your life? How much do you have to make? What car did they have to drive? So when Uncle came your way, was he rich? Did he have cars? Did he have?
For me, I get suspicious when I see the flashy things because I want to look deep to see the person's heart, who he is, how far they can take me. Possessions, I mean, I can work hard and get those things, but I'm looking for more than that.
Yes.
Somebody who will be a companion, make me happy. I wasn't looking for big things. No. Those things make me suspicious and I tend to run away from them. Because growing up, a lot of those things came my way, but I pushed them away. Yeah. He came in his simplicity, but I saw that he had his head over his shoulders. Yes. He knew where he was going. He knew what he wanted in life. And I believe that's what I wanted. So I was able to, say yes to it. So, yeah. I mean, even when I was going to school, there was somebody who would come after school, come with a car, beautiful car. I'll run away. I get nervous and I run away. Yeah. And because of what happened with my parents, because growing up when we were little, we had everything going for us. But when they divorced, I saw how it affected my mom. And I determined that I'll work hard. Yes. Become self-sufficient and make sure that I can take care of myself. So I wasn't looking for anything from anybody. I was looking for somebody who had a vision, who can take me somewhere in the real and important things in life. So that's...
I hope the young ladies are watching because it goes beyond all the material things.
Those things don't impress me.
Well, for someone who's been married for 43 years, I hope you guys are learning. Because if you want your marriage to go beyond 43 years, then this is the example you have to follow. So thank you so much for sharing this, Auntie. And how is it like also raising children?
Especially in America, right? Where you are the manager, you are the cleaner, you are everything.
Everything. Yep.
Fortunately, my mom was here with us for several years to help us out. Wow. So that was a big help that we received from her. And so joined him actually. He had just finished his master's. So it wasn't like he had so much, but he was on the right track. And I was determined to join him for us to work and make sure that we're going somewhere, right? So like I said, I wasn't demanding that I want this, I want that. No. But whatever we have, we worked and we managed to make sure that we're always self-sufficient. So it's not about how much you have, but even the little that you have, be appreciative. And how best can you manage it to make sure that you are well catered for, right? So, and as the Lord added, we continue on that track. Okay, whenever we have extra, we don't go spending. We think about what can it yield for us? Where can we put it and get a better yield? Rather than running to get a flashy car or whatever. I'd rather do the discipline now and enjoy it later. So, and fortunately, it's also like that. So we're able to, do things that way.
And then in leading to this, I want to introduce today's topic because we are going to talk about budgeting and marriage and finances in marriage. We realize that a lot of people disagree on finances, and I think that's the number one cause of divorce in the world. And I wanted to know how you guys have done it for 43 years. How have your finances been, and how have you guys been able to manage your finances for the last 43 years?
That's you.
Oh, that's to me. That's to me. It's both of us. So feel free to go, and I'll add to it.
Okay. For me, the principle, the word of God says that two are better than one, for they have a good reward for their labor. And I think Jesus also said, this in Ecclesiastes, but Jesus also said in the New Testament that a house divided against itself cannot stand. I realized that many couples who handle their finances separately, always there's competition between them. So you kind of tend not to make progress. So right from the beginning, the get-go, we decided that we're going to do everything together because what my salary could not do, the two of our salaries can do it. That takes a lot of trust. But I think the trust has been established because when I met her and we were even dating, she wasn't a very demanding person. She's very, focused. Simple things impress her. Yeah. And that's how we took it. So she is very meticulous, like I said. So budgeting was important for us. We know how much is coming in. We plan what we're going to do. And we do everything together. We wanted to buy a house. We decided we're going to save, for it. There were times in our life, I remember when she came here, the car I had didn't have, my air conditioner wasn't working.
In America weather.
Yes, but I was fine. Me, guy, I'm sweating in it. I was just finding myself. Then she comes in and then she got pregnant and if I look at it, we are both black. So here she is, So I said, no, we got to get a brand new car. I can't let my baby come and be. So I remember that time I actually took a second job to save up because we didn't want to get a big, car loan.
Yeah. So
I took a second job and we still have a lot of money. I think that was as an inventory auditor over there, overnight. So when we went to buy the car, we had a large down payment. So our car payments were very low. Those kind of strategies. And we sit and we talk about these things. God, I had been here a while, so I understood the credit system. She was coming from Ghana. One of her biggest fear was debt. Hey, I don't want debt. I said, America.
Twice on debt.
Yes. So, but we didn't want too much. And I believe it becomes like a problem for you. So we budget a lot. We plan. When we want to do something, we talk about it together. And we see where is the money going to come from. In fact, she has this discipline that before we even put something on a credit card, we know how we are going to pay for it.
Right.
We don't just charge it and then let it be there. We decide we're going to pay for this in 3 months. We're going to pay for this in 6 months. So bam, 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 it's done. That has been how we've run our finances. So we collaborate a lot. Wow. 2 heads are better than one. Yeah. And a friend of mine said, even if one of them has muddy water in it, so it will be okay. So we collaborate a lot and we work together. We don't work against each other.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And Auntie, what's also your take on it too as well?
Just like he said, you know how much you have, and the needs are always more than how much you have. Yeah. So then it's important for you to determine your priorities, where the money should go, what should take priority over that. Yeah. There are some things that can wait longer than others. Some are immediate. Yeah. But if you don't plan, you may find yourself in a difficult position because you didn't take time to consider everything and look at the big picture to identify where things should go. Yeah. So in a way, everybody lives on a budget, but being deliberate and putting things where they have to go is what makes the difference. Yeah. Like he said, all our bills are on automatic draw. And we do that on purpose. Yeah. So if we need to take maybe $10,000 to do something, we know exactly how we are going to do it. And we'll calculate it 10 months or whatever and put it on automatic. So every month it goes out and we finish because we don't want to pay a penny interest. Yes. The banks are taking enough from us. We don't want to give them free money. I believe I work hard for my money. I have to enjoy maximum. Yes. So if I use credit card, I make sure I don't pay the interest. I know, all our credit card, we have the dates, due dates, billing date and due date. I look at it.
She writes it on a credit card.
On the credit. So when you take it, I know if I need to use it today, I know the date. Yeah. So I use it to buy time and to plan and not to pay them a penny. Right. However, I'm getting rewards for all of that. For using the card. Yeah. So those are some of the strategies that you can do to save yourself a lot of money. Wow. Because 15%, 18%, 20%, when I put my money in the bank, I'm getting $1 on $5,000. Yeah. Why should I continue giving them my money? No. Yeah. So plan. is key. Planning is key.
So before we dive deep into the budgeting, I want to ask a very I don't know if it's a controversial but a funny question. But a lot of households, they say that a man is the one who takes care of the finances. How is this supposed to be? Who takes care of the finances in a marriage?
I don't think it's a gender thing. I think the two of you should look at your strengths.
Yeah.
Look at who is more detail-oriented and who is more diligent. The problem that we've had over the years is that I work with budgets a lot at work. And I work with very big numbers. So I tend to round up. So I think, $100 is nothing. Naturally, it's something I'll admit to. But she calculates every penny. So I think it's safer with her than with me. Because if the check gets to the bank and it's short by even $1, they'll still bounce it. And you pay $25 or $30 for it. So I have that weakness. So I acknowledge my own weaknesses. So every couple needs to sit down and see your strengths and determine who is going to do what. So I don't think it's a gender thing. Actually, I think that even though we tend to think that most men are better with math, budgeting is not about math, it's about discipline. True. Women are very risk averse.
Yeah.
They worry a lot. So they tend to be more careful when they are managing finances. I remember one time, I was trying to be the man. So I decided I want to control one account. She just control one account. And every day my checks were bouncing. So she never, after I went and surrendered everything. I surrender all. Take it and handle it. And that issue is gone. I remember one time too, you were traveling to Ghana. And those days we used to pay we mailed the bills. So she actually put everything in envelopes, labeled them for me today. I said, don't worry, I'll take care of it. And I forgot some of them. So I called my credit card. I said, please, Bob, if you charge me this fee, I'm in trouble. Because my wife did everything and she laughed and said, oh, I said, I'm going to do it for you. I don't want to mess up your marriage. And here's the guy who I work with money as well. So if you know you are not good, if you are the man is good, yes, let him do it. But that's how we look at it.
I'm very glad you've clarified this, because there are a lot of people, they feel like because I'm the man, I have to control everything. But you have to look at the weaknesses of
And let me tell you one thing too. Many of us men feel we must be in charge, and I'm not going to challenge that. But for me, sitting here today, my mom's picture is there. If my mom had not been a sophisticated woman, I probably wouldn't be where I am today. So when I was getting married, actually, it's one thing I thought about, that I want my wife to have the kind of knowledge my mom had. I wanted to empower her. Because if my mom had not been empowered financially, because every penny she gets, she's thinking of her children, how well they would do. Our fathers, I don't think they are bad people. They were good, but, African man, he gets a little money and then he's going and gets a second wife. No. So I feel as if though, when your wife is financially educated or understands finance, it helps the family. And I think we were in church one day, somebody told a story of a man who was a very big businessman in her town, very wealthy, and all of a sudden he died. And the family was going down. They couldn't even feed themselves, but his driver was getting richer and richer and richer. Because the driver knew more of his business assets and connections than his own wife. And I think the problem we have with African men, we feel that, if the woman knows too much, she will challenge me, so I want to keep everything to myself. But then all the work you are doing, who are you building it for? It's for your children. And who can you trust with something you are doing for children more than your wife? So I think when you open up and they understand, what is going on, it's better, because it empowers them to give you good advice. And some of the women too, please don't always say, oh, this is a man thing, so I'm not interested. It helps you if you understand what is going on. So at least you can be a good helper to your husband. So it needs to be a joint effort.
Thank you so much. Auntie, I know I've been in Agape for 9 years now. I mean, I've always been part of the church, but I wasn't living here. But when I moved here for 9 years, I've been in Agape. And anytime we talk about budgeting and everything, everybody knows that I'm not going to pastor, I'm coming to Auntie, because she's the one who's detailed oriented, who knows everything about budgeting. And it's helped a lot of families. And I feel like it's about time the whole world also benefited from your teaching concerning budgeting. So can you please teach everyone how to budget well in marriages and their finances?
Okay. Like Pastor said, I believe it should start with the minds meeting, agreeing that whatever we have belongs to the family and being open about it. So that is the starting point. And everybody budgets to some extent, but being deliberate about it and putting a structure to it is what will lead to a goal that you have set. So if you have $100 coming in, and like I said, needs are endless. So you pick up $50, you buy a pillow. Okay. $20 went to a restaurant. And then you have $30 left. Then you realize your rent is coming. You are short, right? So then you are looking for other avenues to make up. That is what pushes people into debt, unnecessary debts, and credit card, whatever. Credit card is a trap. I have credit cards, but I know their game, and I play it to them. So if you swipe credit card and you don't notice somewhere, there's no way you remember. It's so easy. It comes quickly. You go here and swipe. Tomorrow you swipe. And then when the bill comes, you know they are all your bills, genuine, but you've forgotten.
Yes.
And it's sitting there. And you know you can't afford to pay it. So that's where the interest starts eating you up. Before I use credit card, I know why I'm using it. I know how I'm going to pay for it. And I know how I'm going to keep them from taking my money. What they are taking from my savings is all they are going to get from me and my mortgage and, those big items. So before you start spending, look at how much you have. Look at all the things you need to spend on. So look at what is coming in for the month. Both of you, hopefully, if you are married. And look at the expenses, your children's clothes, fuel, your groceries, everything. So if something happens and maybe every week you spend $300 on groceries, but then because you put everything down, you see that, my car is due for servicing. So if I do grocery for $300, I won't be able to do the servicing. There are things in the grocery that adjustments you can make.
Yes.
There are some things that you can put aside. They can wait for you to take care of this so that you don't have to run to somebody for money and go and borrow from somewhere. So it's in a nutshell, you're cutting your coat according to your cloth. As much as possible, try to live within your means. It's not easy going through the discipline of, I'm a woman and I know the nice things that we like to have. He is the one, the visionary. He thinks big things. He brings big ideas and I go, wow. And then, if they are good, I support him and we work towards it. They don't come easy. It may require that for maybe a whole year, there are certain things I cannot do. I go to work, my colleagues, we go in DC. We go up, maybe lunchtime, we go for a walk, we go to the shops. My friends can be buying stuff, but I don't buy it because I know I have a bigger goal that is going to profit me more. So I'm able to defer it, wait, and do it later. So it's a discipline we go through. When we bought our first house, when the mortgage hits the account, we go, shoo. There are things I want. There are nice things that I want. But why? I want my children to be comfortable. I want them to have a place of their own. So I'll go along and counting the pennies and putting everything on paper and making sure that the children are well taken care of. We have food on our table every day. We don't have to go and beg. It's because we are living within our means. Maybe I want to eat shrimp today, but because I know it's more expensive, I'll just eat chicken. And then tomorrow I'll have the shrimp. So it's just a matter of sitting down and putting pen and paper to it. This is how much I have coming in. These are the things I need to take care of, my obligations, and wait and, agree on the things. Defer what you can defer. The nicer days are coming when you sit back and enjoy. Of course, right now I have retired. I'm doing some virtual work. I don't have to do it. I'll be able to still eat, have a place to sleep, take care of the things that are important in life. Yeah.
It's so good. This is so good information because we always hear about these things, but sometimes people can easily say, but you don't see them do it.
Yeah.
So to see someone who is practicing their whole life is amazing because we that know you can see the results.
Yeah.
How it's affected your life, and even people who come even closer to you. You understand me? So I really appreciate you educating us on this. And I have a question. So what helped you guys to be like very disciplined? What are some of the methods you used and everything? Is there like something that maybe you guys did this and you guys stuck to it, or like certain things that you did?
I think you should have a savings mentality, building for tomorrow.
Right.
When I started working in Ghana, fortunately, I got a job with an expat company. They were medical and industrial gas manufacturers, Air Liquide, on Ring Road Central, next to Cement Works. I was making good money. In fact, even at that time, they used to say that what we were earning were more than what the principal secretaries were earning. But even that, at a young age, I was saving seriously. And I still have my Ghana commercial savings book here.
Wow.
Yes. And one time I brought it up, we found it, and there's so much money in it.
Wow.
So when we went to Ghana, we went to Commercial Bank to go and collect that money. But they told us that inflation had eaten everything. Oh, that passbook is still there, savings book. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, the devaluation and inflation has eaten up that money. So when I look, I said, wow, I was saving that much. Wow. Yeah. So I think you have to sit down and determine where you want to go.
Yes.
Because it's not everybody that things drop in their lap.
Yeah.
I didn't have it that way. But I had a savings mentality. I even had life insurance at age 24.
Wow.
And I would go to Togo, buy jewelry, come and, sell it in the office to people. I didn't have to do that. I was a young woman and I was making enough money. Have that savings mentality, building something for the future. So I wasn't, frivolous. I wasn't extravagant. Yeah. I led a very simple life, but I want to secure my financial future. So, and fortunately, I found somebody who was also, simple and had big ideas that can take us there. So,
but I think, to add to that, I think one thing also which she brought to the table, which probably was a weakness for me, is that she likes to write everything down.
Yeah.
When we talk about budgeting, for example, you can't do a budget in your head. She has spreadsheets. When the statements come, she's writing. We charge something, she writes it down right away. I mean, even when we used to do checkbooks, when you swipe, you use ATM card or even credit card, you have to put it in the register.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
She puts everything down, everything down. So if I come here and say, look, I spend this, she wants me to write it down. Wow. But if you don't write it down, you won't
forget.
know. And these days we have spreadsheets, there are apps for even doing that.
Wow.
So, and the essence of budgeting is that budgeting is a planning tool.
Yeah.
And to start effectively, you need to record the history. What am I spending this month? What am I spending the following month? So we look at it, then based on that, you project forward. But if you don't know, you always think it's better than it actually is. So if, for example, you find that you are short in terms of your money and meeting your needs, you have to go back and check, where am I spending? So you know what to take out and so on. And that's something which has really helped us.
Wow.
We want to buy a car, we want to buy a house, we plan. We don't just go to say, I love this car, I'm going to buy it. No, we don't use emotions for that. You want to do something, we save towards it, we track it, and so on. But the writing is key.
It's very key.
Writing is key. You can't get, the Ramsey has one. If you Google, budgeting apps, they are there. Wow. Where you just put in the information. Just this morning, I was looking at one.
Wow.
She did it in a spreadsheet. Everything, even $1, put it in.
Wow.
Because if you spend $1 that you overlook 100 times, that's $100 right there.
Yes.
And if we do that every month, by the end of the year, that's $1,200, which can be very significant. But she's very meticulous with that. And I also try to humble myself. You know, the man will say, why do I have to tell her? If I go out and I'm buying something, I keep all the receipts. When I come, I just drop it on her lap. You know, and she goes in and she records everything. Yeah. So we know. It's not that, you know, she's being picky. Sometimes they can get a little irritated. You know, but it helps us. It helps to acknowledge the household. Yes. Yes.
Okay, so I have a follow-up question. You see, this is a very important habit to have. The savings habits, the budgeting and all of that. How did that affect your children?
Oh. So we taught them how to save. Growing up in a community, I mean, when they go to school, their friends have on the designer stuff, but we refuse to do that. We know where we want to spend big money, like taking them traveling around the world to teach them, to let them know, see for themselves. So we have an allowance system, and they have their, you know, there are certain things they want that we won't buy for them. So I have a notebook with them, and they will record against whatever they keep with us and they don't take until they have enough to buy what they want. And it helped them to understand how to plan, and to save towards things. So it's not everything you're going to mom and dad and give me this, give me that. You learn it for yourself and you apply it. And it has helped them.
Wow.
It has helped them. It has helped them. I mean, we don't have any problem. They have that savings. You know, working hard to build their financial future. They can do it.
Wow. I mean, it also, when you learn finances and you learn to budget, your children will learn from you. Because when we were younger, they used to complain a lot. You know, how can I have it? All my friends have it.
Yeah.
Then later on, they will tell us, you know, Daddy and Mom, when we were putting pressure on you, we made some observations. This area where we live, Upper Marlborough, Bowie, is to consider the better side. But they go to school with children from other areas which are not as, you know, don't have as big as here. Yeah. And they told us one time, you know, we noticed something that all the kids who wear the designer clothes, they get off the bus at the areas where they have the small houses and the apartment complexes. Where they have the big houses, nobody who got off there wore the designer clothes.
Wow.
And they said, we observed it, but we're still trying to put pressure on you. Right? You know, so, and those are some of the things which, after a while, they stopped putting pressure on us because they saw that we were investing it in them living in a good home. Having the things they need, like they're traveling like this. Every summer, we're taking them on a trip. Wow. Canada, you know, we used to take road trips to Georgia and so on. And we stayed in nice hotels, you know, we take them to Orlando, Disney every other year. So they saw we're spending money on them, but not on, you know, if I'm working, I'm earning money, I'm paying taxes, and my shoe is costing me $60, why should you buy a shoe costing $200? You who haven't paid tax before. No. I mean, and at some point they say, we are mean. I said, oh yeah, I'm trying to be as mean as possible. And one interesting thing, do you know, when we put pressure on them to also earn their own money, the computer games they bought, they will play them for a while, then they go and sell them to their friends. Wow. So one time, their mom saw it and said, no, they are duping their friends, tell them to. So I said, no, they are learning business. So that's what they want to do to make money. It's fine. Yeah. You know, so it became like they were dealing with their friends and they will buy it, they will use it for a while, they go and sell it at a higher price. Yeah. And I said, they earned it. That's business. You know, it's America, free enterprise. You know? And unfortunately, now they're all doing some kind of business on the side.
Because I meant to say that seeing them now, because I know them personally and I see how business oriented they are and they are doing good. So I can tell that they really learn from these things from their younger age. Yeah,
but the most dangerous part too is that if you have bad spending habits and investing habits, your children also learn from you.
Yeah.
You know, so the negative things is generational. But if you do the positive, it also becomes generational. Wow. You know, so it's very important that when we are doing this, and it's not just us, but you know,
So I know sometimes kids can be like our weakness in a way, in terms of like our emotions and stuff, right? So how about a place where, let's say, they are being bullied about some of the things they are wearing and all of that? How are you able to change their mindset? Because as young as they are, they might not know certain things that we know. So how are you able to change their mindset so they know that they can just leave whatever going on and happening in their lives?
I think dealing with bullying is all about self-worth. We need to teach our children to be confident and know what values are, so that somebody is not telling them what to wear. Because I remember when, so they go to high school, especially, oh, daddy, you don't know. It's like a fashion show. You got to wear this to be accepted. I accept you at home, and I'm worth more than those your friends. So what's your problem? I like being a little bit, and I'll let you know. For example, you have traveled to Canada, you traveled to UK. Some of those children, they were born maybe in PG County. They haven't even been to Baltimore before. So why are you letting me think that he can dictate your life to you? And when as they matured, actually, we'll sit and they'll tell us, oh yeah, we had it good. We had it good. Because the experiences we had, I mean, we'll have a map, driving to Georgia, we get to Virginia, North Carolina, stuff. And all those things, it's education. Yeah. So let's treat our children in a way that they become self-confident. If you want them to yield to anything, this is the trend, so I'm going to do it. This is the trend, I'm going to do it. It gets them into a lot of trouble. Yeah. So,
for instance, our daughter, when she finished her first degree, right, and we went to the graduation, we didn't know she was the only minority woman in her class. Wow. It was all men.
All men.
Wow.
Yeah. She never once talked about it because she didn't see that she was different from them.
Yeah.
We didn't realize until we got there and went to the graduation. Wow. That is how much confidence we put in them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when they come from school and say somebody made fun of my name, oh really? It's because they don't know any better. We sit down and educate them and encourage them. It's not easy. We have to reinforce and reinforce and then reinforce until it gets to a point where they understand it and they value it.
Yes.
Now they even thank us for giving them Ghanaian names.
Yeah.
Wow.
They thank us for it. They are very happy with it.
They are very happy with it.
But
and they are very proud.
Yeah. I remember at some point they thought, Daddy, when I had we had a Joa who was the last one. She was 4 years younger than you. They said, at least she's a girl, so we should give her an American name. I said, when the Americans come to Ghana, they don't give their children Ghanaian names, so I'm not going to do it. And I told them, look, and this is one. I was born in Ghana. I speak the language. I know the culture. So my father called me George. It doesn't change me. But you were born here. You don't know the culture very well. So I want to give you an identity so you can identify as a Ghanaian. Yeah. And they protested. And actually, I think when George was born, they called her Jessica. And I said, no, not you can call what you want. But that's me. My daughter, Ajuadoma, that's who she is. And that's what I named her. Yeah. But after a while, now they come, they see me and say, Dad, we're so proud of it.
So proud of it.
Because they go to places and they mention and they, wow, what do you get them? Say, yeah, we are Ghanaian, And they feel very proud about it. So it's reinforcing.
Yeah. Reinforcing.
Yeah.
When our daughter finished high school and she was applying to colleges, we went to an interview, scholarship interview. And when they asked her to introduce herself, talk about herself, she talked about her parents coming from Ghana and she's proud of her heritage.
Her Ghanaian heritage.
Ghanaian heritage. So they see themselves as Ghanaians.
Yes.
They are very proud. Very proud. So it's not easy, but you have to be focused and assertive and let them understand. Yeah. Every time they bring it up, reinforce it, build their confidence. That is something good. Yeah. They come to us.
And in the meantime, you're also living a life that they can look up to and aspire to be like you. And they know you're not a failure. You may have an accent, but you're not a failure. You are doing things. I remember one time, one of our sons was going to buy a car. And it was a Nissan something. The guy came to the house to deliver. As soon as he saw the house, he was trying to push a BMW on us. Oh, I have a nice car. My son said, look, this is my parents. They work very hard for their money. You can't just take it from them. So please don't even try. But over the years, he's observed us. We work, we are focused. And that's life.
Wow. Thank you so much for saying these things, because these are things that is happening a lot now. That people don't the confidence and the value is something that's missing a lot of people, especially minorities, because we're trying so hard to fit in. So I'm glad you're saying this, and people can also learn, because I've lived with you and I've seen how prestigious you guys are and how you value your heritage, how your confidence your kids are, and how well they are doing. So I really appreciate this so much. Yeah. And I have one question. So people say that to have a very successful business, you have to your spouse. Most successful businesses are with people who do it together with their spouse. And I want you to dedicate us on that too as well.
I don't know if you want to go first, but
Go ahead.
I think she's leaving it to me because I've had that experience before. The notion is that expertise is what makes a business successful. I think it's more the heart and commitment. You know, expertise is important, but you can have all the expertise without the heart and commitment, it's not going to work. And I think that if you take your marriage serious enough, and you want somebody you can trust, for me, it has to be your spouse. The bottom line is this. If, for example, somebody is doing a business and I want to get into it, I'm that person's competition. The person may be my best friend, you know. So I think well, I'm looking at it more from financial point of view, you know. For example, years ago, my wife used to do Avon, and it's women's stuff, you know, cosmetics and all that. But every time the supplies came in, I was with her, arranging it, sorting it, and all that kind of stuff. I tried to be her cheerleader, so she doesn't feel as if though that business was a bother to me. I wasn't part of it, because the money was coming to the house. We're all benefiting from it. And I saw her zeal, so I was committed to it. So I didn't know as much about it as, you know, she did, but whenever the boxes came in, we saw it, and she's recording, I'm recording, and she's, you know, I'm part of it. So we need to show an interest in each other. And this is something which, for us men especially, we are used to leading. But sometimes you need to find out what your wife is also passionate about and get involved in it.
Right.
Yeah, so speaking as a man, I'm saying, don't say that, like, I want to do a business, so my wife has to follow me. Sometimes she has a passion, observe it. If it's a good idea, you know, you can maybe give her ideas as to how to modify it. But, you know, be interested in it. Because when the bottom line is going to benefit the whole family. It grew, and we we did very well with it financially.
Yeah. It grew because there were a lot of people doing it, but I had a strategy. Where in the beginning, whatever my commission was, I was reinvesting it. So it got to a point where it was running on the commission alone. And what I was doing is I was getting huge inventory. When people were buying 200, I was buying like 2,500 a week. And I'll take it to church, give it to the people, their orders. I don't ask anybody for a penny. But I got to a point that the money was rolling. It was coming in. And because I was not putting pressure, everybody was coming to me. Everybody was patronizing my business because they can get it, pay a month, 2 months. I have the records, but I didn't put pressure because enough was coming in for me to buy the next inventory. So there's no pressure. I need my money to go and buy. No. So it grew and it grew and it grew. So I had huge inventory of Avon. But it takes a lot of work. It got to a point that it was too much. So he encouraged me to get out of it. So that's
well, you see, that's another part of it too. At the two do the same. In fact, I didn't tell her to get out because of the time-consuming nature of it. But when I became a pastor, I felt as if though ethically, I didn't want my wife doing business with the congregation. They are sheep, not markets. So I actually had a discussion with her, and I said, please, you know, I know this, you're passionate about this thing, but I think that, you know, people owe you, they'll stop coming to church, all kinds of stuff. And people are selling, and you are the pastor's wife, and they can't compete with you. You'll be collapsing. So he said, okay, I'll give it up for you. So you see how it goes. So I was helping her, but she also decided to do it, thinking of, you know, the ministry and how important it was to me. And after that, actually, God opened another door for her. And she became a big dealer in sheets and comforters and so on. And that was even making more money because that one she was even getting containers too, you know. So she gave it up for me, but God rewarded her. So that's the collaboration. That's where it comes in, you know.
Oh, I see where Kojo got a business from.
Yeah, I just want to emphasize that when it comes to budgeting, the key is putting things on paper. You know, just open a spreadsheet, every expense. Then as you go on and you begin to see, you list your income and then the expenditure. Normally the income tends to be very small,
Right.
but the expenditure is a lot. So as you do it, it's going to become a lot, but then you start rolling things up into categories and subcategories. So after a while, it becomes very clean. You know, initially it may look very messy, but after a while you begin to see it. And then maybe after 6 months to a year, you go and look at the categories and you're going to see where your money is going. And you'll be shocked. You'll be shocked as to where you are wasting money and you didn't realize it, you know, and things you don't really need. For example, somebody came to me, we were talking about budgeting, and I asked the person, I looked at cable TV. It was, whoa. I said, how much TV do you watch a day? Pastor, I don't even watch TV. But look at that. Can you cut the cable TV? You know, and get the basic? Or maybe get a streaming service? You know? So those kinds of things. But if you don't track it, you won't know.
Yeah.
And so, as difficult as it is, people need to make the decision, I'm going to start tracking. Maybe start 1st of February, 1st of March, and be tracking everything.
Yeah.
You come home, keep your receipts, go in there, look at your bank statement, the ATM, and put everything down. That's a starting point. Yeah. If you don't do it, you won't know.
You won't know. Yeah. And whether you like it or not, life will catch up on you.
Yeah.
So it's better to work hard, save, and enjoy than to work 3 jobs and find that you don't have anything and you still need to, scramble.
Yeah.
Yeah. It will catch up. I mean, the energy and the strength you have in your 20s, 30s, 40s, you get to a point that it's going to go down. And it's going to add pressure because you always have to scrape and find, and that's also stressful on you.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to take away from your health.
Yeah.
But rather go through the discipline now, make the sacrifice now, and enjoy, in the latter time when you cannot work anymore. Because you work hard and you save, and then it's going to work for you. The money is going to work for you, and you get to enjoy it. So you can travel now. I can go anywhere I want, whenever I want. And that stress is not there. It's because I went through the discipline. What I'm talking about, the first 2 years, when you buy a house, my goodness, and you have children. The mortgage wipes off everything. Because when you're paying rent, all of a sudden you're paying triple. And then your utilities added on top, maintenance and all that. And you have children, something breaks and you go, my God. Because when you call them for the service, they have to charge you before they take care of the problem. You know? So it's a huge sacrifice and discipline. But if you go through it, you'll be thankful because the house is appreciating. You've learned the habit of saving. And after a while, you will live to enjoy it. Yeah.
I remember when I got my first house, that first 2 months, it was so, I was like, is that something I was doing wrong? Because I know I could save, but I couldn't. So I came to see Uncle and you went through every strategy.
You are
that's how I was able to build that
Yeah.
habit again. Yeah.
Because see, when you buy a house, it's like your income was here. No, your expenditure for housing was here. Now all of a sudden, it jumps up here. But because it's a 30-year fixed mortgage, I told you please don't do any arm or anything. Make sure it's 30-year fixed. The taxes and the insurance will go up slightly, but it's like it's going like that. But the rent, every year it bumps up. So after a while, the rent will exceed, exceed what. So you'll find that it becomes a bargain. When I tell people how much we pay for this house a month, it's like, what? Are you serious? If people living in 2-bedroom apartments are paying more than we are paying here. Because we had it for a long time. And it's stable. You can budget. You can plan with it. Not every year, and I'm stressing about the landlord coming to increase it. So.
And you say,
and once when you buy a house when you get a mortgage, it forces you to be disciplined.
Yes.
Because the money is not there. You know your mortgage, you have to pay your mortgage. You have to pay your utilities. So you can't afford to spend.
Yes.
Brilliant, yeah.
You don't have that, luxury.
Yeah.
It forces you to be disciplined. So.
And you guys saying this, I wanted to ask, how were you able to, because I know early in the 90s and 80s, it wasn't common for Africans to own houses and all that. How were you guys able to do it? I want to
That is where your uncle comes in. He's the big visionary. He has that vision. He brings the ideas and I go, wow.
Yeah.
He brings the ideas and I do go into the weeds and do the details.
Yeah.
So he drops the idea, it's wow. But, he drops it and that's it. And then I also take it and we work with it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember one year
Very
we did
early.
our taxes. We're living in an apartment in Virginia, and for the first time we owed money. So I told the guy, you might have made a mistake. He said, no. Your income has reached a point where your tax rate is going to go up because the tax rate is progressive.
Yeah.
And I looked back and I realized that when she came out, I was the only one working. Then she started to work at the same place. We're all making low, but now all of a sudden our incomes were going up. And he said, look at what you made last year. Look what you made this year. So he said, that's what is going to happen. You're going to owe. I said, no, what can we do to stop it? He said, buy a house. And I'm like, a house? I've been thinking about that. Then he explained the whole concept to me. The fact that you get deduction on the interest and all that kind of stuff. That's what he said. A system is built to force you to own a home. I said, wow. So we talked about it. And she bought into it. And we started doing the research. Washington Post those days, Saturday, there was a real estate section. I read it from cover to cover. We did a lot of research. So information for financing is very key. And I don't want to bash anybody, but if you think of buying a house and you trust your realtor and the loan officer, but the bottom line is that in the end, they are also looking for their commission. So I did my own research. And the first realtor we got was a Ghanaian. We decided we wanted to spend a certain amount of money. And his loan officer said we could afford more. So he was telling us to do what the loan officer says. And I said, man, please, I'm spending the money. I'm the client. So listen to me. And I fired him. And she was worried that he wouldn't talk to us again. I said, I don't care. I mean, you come back. We went to the same church and everything, And we got an African-American woman. And I said, I know what the numbers say, but I know my spending habits. And this is where I want to go. And I said, I fired somebody before you. So please listen to me. And she was like, yes, sir. And she gave us exactly what we wanted. So, everybody wants a piece of your money. And somebody was telling me, especially the car salespeople, that they make most of their profit on a few ignorant people. So if you're going to buy a house, you're going to buy a car. Never go to a a car dealer to buy a car when you don't know the wholesale price of the car. You have to know. Yeah. So you know what you are dealing with. I had a Nigerian friend years ago, and he went to buy a car. I said, how much? He said, I said, did you get a good? He said, but there's no deal. The price is in the window, and that's what I paid. I'm like, are you serious? He hasn't done his homework. Wow. So we did a lot of research, and buying our first home wasn't easy. We had to save up the down payment, and she was on us. Every penny. I used to have a joke that when you drop $1, she picks it up to go and put it in the house fund, Wow. And then we bought it, and the shock came because all of a sudden, those days, this was in the 80s, we were paying about $435 a month in rent. And then our mortgage was about $800. So that was huge. Yeah. The mortgage hits and it's gone. But the fact is that money you are paying as a mortgage, it's not a loss. It's in your house.
Yes.
So a few years later, the value shot up. We took the money, moved into a new house. And from that point, it was easy. Because basically, we didn't have to save a down payment. It was just the monthly payment going up. Yeah. So going from there to the next house was pretty easy. The first one is very difficult. But once you make that breakthrough,
on your way.
It's on your way. And I think studies have shown that to build generational wealth, real estate is very important. So that's how we started it.
So when you were doing this in the 80s, did you get people who were discouraging you?
Oh yeah. We had people who actually laughed at us that if we buy a house in America, I think we can't go back to Ghana. and they were saying, we're going to build a house in Ghana. How can you come here and buy a house here when you don't have a house in Ghana? I told them, look, I'll take my equity from this house and I'll build a house in Ghana in 3 months. Wow. And they didn't get it. They didn't get that concept. But it's funny that people who were talking against it because we were trying to buy a house, in 10 years' time, we're coming back to us to help them also buy a house. But they found that they were running around in circles and it wasn't getting anywhere. You go home, you build a house, somebody takes it from you, you send the money to somebody, takes your money, and they were stuck there. And we were enjoying it. So it's kind of, you have to be resolute. Yes. You have to know what you are doing, because I saw that most people, in fact, it's interesting, when I came here, my older brother who I came to stay with, he lived in this area. And he brought me here, and I really liked the neighborhood. And I made a joke that, one day I'll live here. And that's where we bought our first house. And we still, so he inspired me in a way that if you could buy a house here, then we can buy a house here. So those kind of things. Associate with the right people who will speak positive things to you, not those who, everything you do, one funny thing, when we came here in the 80s, people are going to buy TV, they want to buy 110, 220. I'm like, why? When we are going back home. When are you going back home? And that was more expensive, but yes, still, they like to buy 110, 220. Okay, I'll go and buy my, not too expensive one, 220. I don't know when I'm going. When I'm going, I'll sell it. When I go there, I'll buy a 220 one. So plan and talk to the right people, be around the right people. Yeah.
And the other aspect of budgeting is to always have a goal.
Yeah.
Have a goal. Have a project that you're working towards. Because that will push you to be mindful and deliberate about your spending. Yeah. Have a goal and have a project that you're always working every time. You must have a project that you're working towards, and a goal towards.
I think this one we're going to have a part 2 because we're going to get a lot of questions and all of that. Okay. But do you have any final thing to say before we wrap up on today's?
Okay. I believe that budget is the beginning of your wealth. Budgeting, right? So don't wait to see that you are getting 6 figures or whatever. If you don't learn the discipline now, when you have little, build a habit of saving and having a goal towards which you're going to work. When the time comes and the is coming in, you may not even recognize it because you haven't built that habit. But even when you're making 50,000, you know that I want to buy a house. So I'm always going to, every month, every paycheck, I'll put $100 away. And the other thing too, most employers can do direct, have a savings with your bank where they direct, where a certain amount portion goes into your savings. So once that's, after a while, you even forget. Because it's become a part of you. You know that this is what is coming in. That money is gone at source. Okay, that's how you're paying yourself. So have a goal right from the beginning. It doesn't matter how much you make. Still learn the habit of saving. And that is what is going to help you into bigger things. Don't wait till you're making 100,000 or 200,000. Start from your 30,000. Because these fingers are not equal. Somebody may start from 100,000. Maybe you even started from 30,000. It's okay. You can afford to put $20 away. They can put $10,000 away. It's fine. It's okay. But build your little steps. Every drop, will eventually turn into a mighty ocean.
Do you have anything to say
to? What I'm going to add to it is discipline is key. And what she said about don't wait till you have a lot of money. But the fact is that look at yourself as a business. Every business has a budget. Every municipality, every government has a budget. And I think I was saying before we came on that one of the reasons why maybe a lot of African countries, our finances are so messed up that we don't stick to budgets. We do contingencies. Then we go to donors. They should give us money. And the money before it gets there, it's all gone. So you have to emulate who are successful. Every successful business, their budget system is very tight, you know. So see yourself as our family incorporated. What is your budget? What is your goal? You know, so do a budget so you can plan well for the future of your family and of your children, and not just hope that things will work out well. I've known people who are in this country, single mothers, who are able to buy houses, are able to build houses back home. There was a lady in church one time I was preaching about little things, and she came to share with my wife that when I preached about that subject some time ago, she does babysitting. Babysitting. She started putting $100. You send it, buy blocks, buy cement. Now she's built her house. Wow. And she was talking to me last night. The business she used to run here, she's giving it away. Now she comes to relax and chill. You know, why wouldn't she live long? Well, now she has a house. You know, the goal is met. So mental health and everything, it helps you a lot. Yeah, but put it on paper and track it. That's where it all begins.
Yeah, and with the budgeting comes the home management. Maybe that can be another topic for another time.
Right. Well, I wanted to thank you guys so much. I don't know. I want you guys to know that I really appreciate you guys so much, because me moving to America, the first 2 years was under you guys, and I really learned a lot from you. It helped me in my marriage and my finances and everything because of the habits and the standards you guys set. So I want you to know that I really appreciate you guys so much, and you guys are the reason why I'm enjoying my stay, and I can say that, wow, like my life turned around because of you guys. So God bless you guys so much. God bless you guys so much. Yeah.
Thank God. Right. We thank God that you also took it and you applied it, right?
Yeah.
So thank you.
Please, now you have a driver's license. Wait to get a driver's license. I mean, you have a driver's license.
This is the Life of Path podcast with Dr. George and Krause. See you.